You slept 8 hours, a full, decent night. And you wake up like you got hit by a truck, drag through the day on coffee, and crash by evening, even though you barely moved. You start wondering if something's wrong with you. Stay with me, because the real cause has almost nothing to do with your bed. Here's the thing nobody separates. There are really two kinds of tired, and we treat them like one. Physical tired. From a long hike or a hard workout, sleep fixes beautifully. Then there's mental and emotional tired. And here's the cruel part. Sleep barely touches it. You can log 10 hours and still feel drained, because the thing that was worn out never actually got to rest. Picture your phone at the end of a day, battery nearly dead. You plug it in all night, and in the morning it's still draining fast. The battery was never the problem. Some app has been running hard in the background the whole time. That's you. Your body slept fine. Something in your mind stayed on all night, quietly burning you down. Your mind almost always has apps running like that. Psychologists call it cognitive load. You've only got so much processing power at any moment, like RAM in a computer. And every unfinished task, every undecided thing, every low hum of worry quietly eats a slice. You can be sitting on the couch doing nothing while your brain churns. Did I answer that? What's for dinner? Why did she say that? A big chunk of that is decision fatigue. Every choice, no matter how small, spends a little fuel. What to wear, what to eat, which task first, how to word the text. By afternoon, you've made 1,000 tiny calls, and the part of you that decides is running on fumes. That's why evening, you reaches for junk food and the phone. Not weak. Your deciding muscle is genuinely spent. Then there's emotional labor, and this one hits some people way harder than others. It's the invisible work of managing feelings, yours and everyone else's. Staying calm in a tense meeting, being upbeat for customers when you feel awful, keeping the peace at home when you want to fall apart. None of it lands on a to-do list, but it's real, exhausting work that quietly empties you out. Here's one that surprises people. Being bored can drain you as hard as being slammed. When your work is dull, repetitive, or feels pointless, your brain doesn't get the engagement it needs and answers with a thick, foggy tired. It's that specific wipeout of a long dead afternoon at a desk, where you did basically nothing and somehow feel like you ran a marathon. Your mind is underfed, not overworked. It's like an engine left idling in a driveway for hours. It's not going anywhere, not doing any real work, and yet it's still burning fuel the entire time, still getting warm. A day of low, pointless, busy work does exactly that to you. Motion without meaning. You end it empty and can't point to a single thing that actually earned the exhaustion. Let's name the obvious one. Your phone. That hollow, buzzy feeling after an hour of scrolling isn't rest, even though you sat perfectly still. Your brain was sprinting, processing a flood of images, headlines, and little jolts of emotion, one after another, running hard while going nowhere. The thing you grab to unwind when you're fried is often making the fried far worse. And that builds a nasty little loop. You're too tired to do anything real, so you scroll. The scroll drains you further, so you feel even more tired, so you scroll more. It feels like resting. It's actually the opposite, a slow leak dressed up as a break. The rest you keep reaching for is quietly the very thing keeping you empty. There's a heavier source underneath all of it. Living out of line with what actually matters to you. When your days are packed with things you don't care about, or you're always doing what you think you should instead of what feels right, it makes a low, grinding fatigue no nap can reach. Pushed far enough, that's a big part of what burnout really is. Because this kind of tired isn't a sleep problem at all. It's your mind sending a message. When you're doing meaningful things, even hard ones, energy often comes back to you. When you're doing empty things, even easy ones, energy drains away. Your exhaustion is quietly tracking not how much you do, but how much of it feels like it's actually yours. So if you've been calling yourself lazy or broken for being tired all the time, please drop that right now. It is not a character flaw. It's information. Exhaustion is a signal, the same way physical pain is, pointing at something real. Lazy people don't lie awake feeling this. Over-responsible, quietly stressed, deeply decent people do. You're not lazy. You're carrying more than you ever counted. So the question quietly changes. It stops being what's wrong with me and becomes what is my tired trying to tell me. That single shift moves you from shame into curiosity. You're no longer a broken machine that won't hold a charge. You're a person whose mind is finally speaking up about a load it has been carrying in silence for a long time. So here's the first real fix. Once a day, do a brain dump. Grab paper and write down every task, every worry, every half-thought rattling around in there. Get it all out of your head and onto the page. Your mind keeps those open loops running as background stress, and once they live somewhere you trust, it can finally set them down. And here is the kind of rest almost nobody gives themselves. Real rest, not fake rest. Scrolling is fake rest, motion disguised as a break. Real rest is a walk with no phone, sitting outside doing nothing, letting your brain idle with no new input to process. It feels boring, almost uncomfortable. That boredom is the exact sensation of your mind actually recharging. There's a reason that empty, boring quiet restores you. When you stop feeding your brain new input, it finally switches into a background mode that sorts, files, and settles everything from the day. You can't force that with more stimulation. You make room for it with less. Doing nothing on purpose is not laziness. For a tired mind, it's genuine repair. Then, once a week, ask yourself one honest question. Is my tired coming from doing too much, or from doing too much that doesn't matter to me? Because if it's the second one, no nap on earth fixes it. Protect even a little time for something that's genuinely yours. A person, a hobby, something that lights you up. Sometimes the cure for exhaustion isn't more rest, it's more meaning. And one honest note. Sometimes constant tiredness is medical, not just mental. Thyroid issues, low iron, sleep apnea, depression, and more can all show up looking exactly like this. So if the exhaustion is heavy and won't lift no matter what you change, seeing a doctor or a therapist is a smart, ordinary move, not a dramatic one. It's worth ruling the real stuff in or out. Here's the truth to carry. Your tiredness was never proof that you're weak or falling behind. Far more often, it's the quiet accounting of everything you've been holding without noticing. The open loops, the managed feelings, the days that didn't feel like yours. Listen to it, and it stops being a punishment and becomes the most useful signal you've got. So the next time you're wiped for no reason, don't reach straight for coffee or your phone. Pause and ask which tired this really is. And I'm curious which one hit closest for you. The mental load, the emotional labor, the phone, or the quiet sense that your life has drifted a little off course. Tell me below. It genuinely helps to see it named. So which one hit closest? The mental load, the emotional labor, the phone, or a life that's drifted off course? Tell me below. Subscribe if this finally made your tiredness make a little more sense, because there's more of this quiet, useful stuff coming.